Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger. And today I got to talk about this Irene Yvette chick. But before I do, please hit that like button on your way in. It should be like 35 likes on the thing right now. And I want to give a thanks to Vulcans. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I seen it earlier. It's not here now. I don't know if it was retracted or what have you, but appreciate it nonetheless. Thanks a lot. All right, and Eisen Sama, I appreciate you for the $5 super chat. You says for the content, Game Changer. Greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate you all. And thank you to all of the people that come too early. I greatly appreciate you as well. I might just stop altogether doing that 3-minute intro and talk to some people about getting a professional one. But in the meantime, just go straight into it. All right. So, fellas and ladies, I'm going to say it before. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. The whole community white supremacy thing, this is just a distraction. It's just a distraction. It's a dummy mission. It's black women sending you on a mission so they can usurp power while you're gone. Go fight for civil rights. And while you do that, we are going to fight for black women's rights. We are going to fight for more welfare. We're going to fight for more benefits that just benefit black women. Go fight white supremacy. And while you do that, we are going to write the scrolls. Every time we send you on a mission to attempt to take over the world when you are, like 40 million strong against 7 billion. Every time we send you on these missions and escapades, we are just going to laugh our ass off while we take over the community. While you are off at war, we are going to take over the home front. So when you come back, it's going to be, well, you gave it a good try. We're the leaders of the community now. This is a matriarchy, and you're just a bitch. Don't believe me? What happened immediately after the Civil Rights Movement? I understand that there's some skepticism out there, but trust me, it's a dummy mission. For this constant shaming and blaming, etc., etc., etc. They don't expect it to happen, but they just expect you to try. Your efforts frees them up to do whatever. Don't look at what the black woman is doing. Look at this. Don't look at what the black woman is doing. Look at that. Don't look at what the black woman is doing. Look at this, that, and the other. That's what the whole white supremacy thing is about. Now, the whole fixing the community, they're basically saying, fix the community and I'll break it. Fix the community and I'll break it. Fix the community and I'll break it. It's kind of like picking up after somebody who's constantly throwing something down. And while you're doing that, guess what they're doing? Black girls rock. Black girls magic. Black girls code. Black girls rule the world. Black girl beautiful. Black girl this. Black girl, black girl, black girl, black girl. Fellas, you ever notice how all of the shit, all of the nonprofits, all of the community organizations, all of the, community efforts that black women make are for black women and girls? You ever notice that? But then you look at stuff like, the Innocence Project, the one by, God's chosen white women. You look at stuff like Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Oh. You're telling me that a group of housewives got together and made something called Mothers Against Drunk Driving? You mean something that affects mother, children, and father almost equally? How dare they? Oh, I see, I see, I see. So Black women seem to be community developing for themselves, while Black men are either out trying to fight white supremacy or developing a community for both Black women and themselves. Oh, I get it. That is how they usurp the power of the community. Aha! Aha! While the cat's away, the bitch will stray. Aha! That's what's actually going on. Ever notice how they are chronically telling you to do community service? You are supposed to be doing community service. You are supposed to be doing community service. Bullshit! Fellas and ladies, have you ever noticed how in other communities it is the women who do the community service? It is the housewives who do the community service. It is them who form the community bake sales. It is them who go to the soccer matches. It is them who lead up the PTA. You ever notice that? You ever notice that while the men are out working and stuff like that, it is the women who are building the community, not just for the girls? They are building it for the boys, the girls, and everyone in between, the colored, the light. Ever notice how it is them that is doing it? Ever notice that? Ever notice that, it's the housewives that is part of the committee to assure that the colored children get fed? They're part of the committee that ensures that the underfunded basketball team get jerseys. It is them that is a committee that's part of the committee to make sure that the starving children or that the poor children of Haiti gets backpacks. It is always them. But in our community, we're supposed to do that in addition to working full time. Black men, you got to be the hunter and the gatherer. And then when that's done, I'll submit. And by submit, I mean do the exact same thing that you're doing. I'll be a soccer mom if you be a soccer dad. I'll join Mothers Against Drunk Driving as soon as you join Fathers Against Drunk Driving and work. But one thing in particular that our housewives and former white men's jump-offs like to do is they like to cause division amongst Black men and Black women through a process that is called topping from the bottom. Now, what is topping from the bottom? We'll get to that. But let me share screens for a second. Let me share my screen so y'all know who I'm talking about today. And I know she's listening. Oh, I know you're listening. That's right. Dear Yvette. Dear Yvette. Dear Yvette. Dear Yvette. That's right. We are talking about her today. So I had the misfortune. Okay, right quick. Hannibal Vigor says GC still can't tell straight versus lesbian women. Okay. Very random, off topic. Yeah. Yeah, that is a very random comment. I mean, hell, since we're, at the, you know, since we're on the topic of just saying random shit, how about, all chocolate Easter candy tastes the same? It's just different shapes. What kind of random crap is that? But thanks for the $2, I guess. I bet she not. Okay. Here's the thing about Yvette. Let's just work under the assumption that she's a housewife, right? What is she doing for the community like other groups of housewives do? Is she tutoring? Does she have an after school program to help both black girls and black boys? Is she fundraising uniforms? Is she organizing a car wash? Is she making a bake sale? Nope, she's on YouTube talking shit. She's on YouTube talking shit. What are you going to do today? Same thing I do every day. Hop on YouTube and talk shit. See, that is who actually builds the community and every other community, the housewives. Now, it's the men that give them liberty to do so, but it's the housewives that actually, focus on community development. And they don't walk around trying to get all the credit in the world for it. Zerks the First says, I bet she's not. She probably aren't. Or she's probably not. But, we've been fooled before. About business. All grapes grown vines. Yeah, exactly. Just saying random shit all the time. Like, I don't get that. I mean, if you can explain it, then okay, maybe this is the explanation right here. All right. What I mean is you cannot judge Irene Yvette from a feminist perspective. Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. So thanks for clearing that up, Hannah. So yeah, but what was I saying? So this is what our housewives do. While other people's housewives actually build a community that's better for the women, children, they're the ones out talking to city council, making sure that this area has a speed bump because a lot of kids like to play in it, making sure that that area has a stop sign because people tend to speed over there. And there was like 2 deaths last year. Well, other housewives are doing that. What are our housewives doing? They're telling you to go fight some god-awful battle with 99.7% of the world and 1 bullet between 10 of you. They're telling you to go do that. And while you're doing that, while you're on Mission Impossible, they are taking the community 1 bite at a time. And the thing that's stopping them is black men like myself and others who are calling them out on their shit. They can't stand it. They can't stand it. So they try to go get these, oh, I'm so community, brothers, right? To try to silence the others. By offering them submission. They want to paint the picture of this, oh, we're just so submissive. We're just waiting for y'all to become community leaders. Because every black man should be a basketball coach. And once every black man becomes a basketball coach or some crap like that, in addition to working, then we'll submit. Even though there's really nothing to do at that point, right? But then we'll submit. As soon as you do what we tell you to do, we'll submit. Is essentially what they're saying. Now, hold on. Let me go to Irene Yvette's page right quick. So I could bring up last night's video. Do, 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 do. I don't know why the theme song from Doug is stuck in my head, but it is. I got 124, 125 watching. Please let me get that. Let me get those likes up, please, peoples. All right, I greatly appreciate you. All right, Irene Yvette. Oh crap. Oh crap. Well, fellas, I guess she outsmarted me. You know, because she took the video down from last night because she knew what I was about to say about it. She took the video down last night, so I can't really talk too much about last night's video. So I guess I'm going to have to cut this here short, you know, unless I made a copy. That's right, Irene Yvette. Unless I made a copy. Oh, you thought you'd get away with it. Oh, you thought that you could take the video down. Oh, you thought that you could hide from the truth, from me revealing your true self and your true nature. You thought that you can hide. You thought you can run. You thought that you can escape GameChanger 00100 from finding out the truth and exposing you as I did last night. You thought you can escape by hitting the private button. I am going to make this private. I'm going to make sure nobody sees me behave like this. I'm going to act private because I want people to think I'm a submissive woman. I don't want people to see my ratchet side. I don't want people to see that I'm only pretending to be submissive, but when really pushed and people call me out on my shit, I get ratchet as fuck, just like Keisha from the block. I don't want people to see that. So I'm going to make that private. I'm going to try to keep it on the down low. Nobody has to know except GameChanger and everybody watching right now. Right now. That's right. I got the copy. And you want to know how long I'm going to hold on to it? Forever and ever and ever. All right. So we're going to give her intro. Right? I'm going to give part of her intro because it's like a 2-hour video. I'm not going to cover the whole thing. You know, I'm just going to do tidbits. I'm going to do bits and tids. So basically, you are going to hear Irene Yvette and a bunch of people who want to fuck Irene Yvette. It's not going to happen, fellas. But keep hope alive. All right. So here we go.
Looking and hoping that Black men will collectively step up and lead. It's disheartening. Respectful. I mean that like in a way that's upsetting, right? Not. But I did want to talk a little bit about like my thoughts about how the conversation went. And I have to be honest, I was so disappointed in the live earlier today. I don't think there's only been one other live since I've been on YouTube on my channel where I just was totally disappointed and just sad by the results of the live. This is literally in all the time I've been on YouTube, this live was only the second time where I've done a live, and I just was like, that is something I'm not proud of. I hate to use the word proud, just something I'm not happy with. Something that did not turn out the way that I wanted it to turn out. Hi, Information Man. Hi, Mark. Oh yeah, I saw that in the playback, Mark. I'm sorry that I probably should have pinned the link in the chat. So I was so disappointed, you guys. And this is, I'm gonna tell you why I was so disappointed. I was disappointed because...
All right, I'm going to stop right there for a second. By the way, fair use. Let me put the banner up. Fair use, people. Fair use. Okay, so she was disappointed. Oh my gosh, she was disappointed. Now, disappointment is something that a person of authority places on somebody who doesn't have authority when they do not meet the expectation of the authority figure. Make no mistake about it. She is looking at herself as an authority figure, and she is disappointed in Black men, the subordinate.
Somewhere at about maybe 40 minutes into the live, I seriously felt like, thank you, Backyard Life. Somewhere about 40 minutes into the live, I'm going to tell you the truth, what occurred to me. It occurred to me that I was more passionate about Black male leadership, and a lot of women in the chat were more passionate about Black men being leaders.
Now, what they mean by Black men being leaders is Black men doing community service, doing community involvement. That's what they mean by leaders. They're not talking about household leaders, mind you. They're not talking about they're concerned about Black men being the leaders of their household, because that means being the leaders of them. What they really means is, I want you to go out and lead the effort. I want you to go out and pick up the trash that is in the junior high schools. I want you to go out and lead the children to become better so I don't have to pay for it. I want you to go out and do like Cuddy and open up a free boxing gym like that. Like, that is the type of leadership I'm talking about. Don't actually try to lead me. Oh, fuck no. But I tell you what, as soon as all Black men do that, then we'll submit. I promise. Look at my tits. Come on now. Do tits like this lie?
Than the majority of the men that I had on my panel. And this isn't to make an indictment on anybody's opinion or anything like that. It just was very disheartening. I thought the benefit of the live would have been the fact that people could be encouraged in our community.
Right. People can be encouraged to to do community activities, to be community builders. You know, the thing that housewives normally do, and you're a housewife not doing it. Ain't this a bitch? Fellas, I want y'all to really just stop. And if you smoke a cigar, smoke it. And if you have a chair that leans back, lean back in it. And if you don't smoke a cigar, then just have one and puff on an unlit cigar. And I want you to appreciate the irony of what's going on here. The irony, get it? The irony? All right. The irony of what's going on is she is trying to lead Black men into being leaders. Ain't this a bitch? She is trying to lead you into leadership. Ain't that a bitch? All you have to do is follow me and you'll be a leader. Huh? Huh? That's so stupid it might just work. No. No, it's not. She wants you to follow her into leadership. I was just trying to lead men into leadership. Are you kidding me?
When I did the poll, although there were a few men who I don't even know what they were thinking. They thought I was trying to be funny when I did that poll about women's leadership. Most people that were men already know where I stand with regard to that. So the question wasn't offensive to
Unless you're standing behind a man, who gives a shit?
them because I've been very consistent since I've been on YouTube about where I stand about male leadership. But, you know, I don't know if as men you guys listen to.
Okay, Zerx the First says, I take that back, GC. I'm sure she's watching now. Oh, she's watching. She's watching. She's watching with 2 eyes and 4 titties. She is watching. Michael Ross says, how can a bed wench lead black anybody anywhere? Exactly. You wasted all of your eggs, like, to not produce blackness as you define it. She has no stake in the community. Her seeds don't get watered by the community.
I don't know when women who are very angry, frustrated, bothered about what they perceive, and honestly, I can agree, is a lack of male leadership in our community, or about our.
We're frustrated by the lack of male leadership in our community. Well, I'm frustrated about the lack of bitches that's willing to get a man a sandwich. They want leaders without followers. This shit is retarded. But watch what happens later when I try to bring up followers. Just watch.
Our collective position as Black people, or women who are part of the divestment movement, or women who, you know.
You have to invest to divest, and you haven't invested shit. What's your investment? A sandwich and some motherfucking kids. You or none of the divestment bitches invested shit. But this is her way of saying, you know, basically, she is the we tried bitch. She is the we tried bitch. We tried to submit to you, and by submit to you, I meant tell you how to lead me. This is the template. This is exactly how I want to be led. I want you to talk to me in this tone when you lead me. I want you to show me exactly how to mop the floor over and over and over again every mop night. You got to lead me by getting your own damn sandwich. I tried to show you how to lead me. That's not trying, bitch. Trying is following. How about that?
Have complaints about Black men. I don't know how closely you guys listen to them. Like, I'm not a Black man, so I guess I can listen to them and hear them, and I'm not personally offended because I'm not a man, so it's not like they're talking about me. But when I hear them talk, I don't disregard all of their points. And I just want to go over.
You are their point. You are their point. Sweetie, make no mistake. You are a divester. You are a divester. When you were younger, hotter, sexier, childless, which is what men want, you gave that to a different community. You divested and gave that to a different community. And all the shit that's left over, you're giving to us. You are scraps. Your vagina is scraps and you're scraps. You are the bones that your baby daddy spat out. After child, after child, after child, after child. That your current dude has to look after. You are scraps. You have divested. And worse, you're taking. You are not giving your husband shit. You're taking from him. You're taking his resources for your baby's daddy's kids. You are scraps and your vagina is crap.
Some of the things that were frustrating to me, and then you guys can let me know if I'm tripping or not, okay? I was really frustrated with the time argument. The argument that it takes time, and that things are being done. We just have to be patient and hold faith. And that was frustrating for me because we look at our community in shambles. We look at so many homes that don't have men in them. We look at
just about for every home without a man in them, there's a home without a woman in it. Every home without a man in it, there's a home without a bitch getting him a sandwich, getting a man a sandwich. But you see, she gets frustrated. So basically, what, you're impatient? I'm impatient because y'all been free since 1865 and y'all haven't taken over the world yet. How long does it take? Well, let's listen to her.
the progression. And when I say the domination, I don't even mean that to be disrespectful. I mean that like in a way that's upsetting. Right?
No, sweetie, you mean it to shame. You mean it to shame so we could go out and fight white supremacy and leave you to your own devices. That's what this is all about. As y'all going to see later in the conversation, this is about Black men going off, doing something else, and leaving them to their own devices. See, other races can do that. Other races can leave a woman to their own devices, knowing that she is doing something productive for both her and her family. An Asian guy can go off. He can be an engineer. He could be a doctor or something like that. And he knows that if he buys like a corner market and leaves his wife to his own devices, she's going to build that corner market up. And guess what? Many Black women would do the same thing. But you want to know what else they'll do? They'll take all the credit. They'll take all the credit. Picture this scenario. You have a Black man that's a doctor, right? And he says, you know something? I'm going to open up a chicken and waffle house. Right. And I'm going to put my last name on it. Let's just say Jenkins, right? Jenkins Chicken and Waffles. And I'm going to have my wife run it. That way we're hiring Black people. This is my contribution to the community. How long before she takes the credit? It's her last name too. How long before she takes the credit? And say this is something that Black women did and Black men had no part of it. How long before she does that? They look at them as a separate entity. They look at themselves as a separate entity. Oh, and by the way, movie night is tonight at 5:55.
Right.
Check it out, because I'm actually going to review a movie called Revenge of the Green Dragons that shows exactly how the Asian community gets down and why shit works for them. This is going to show you exactly how they get down. It's about a group of Asians that came here as immigrants and formed a gang in Flushing, New York. So stay tuned for that.
Of our men, and vicariously through that us, We look at the co-opting of Black women and weaponization of Black women against Black men.
Weaponization of you? You're choosing to do this shit. Who's weaponizing whom? It's just you. It's just you. What are you, like Weapon X? No, you're Wolverine. You got your memories back, you got your claws, and you're using it to attack Black men.
And we look at all these things.
And why in the fuck would you try to build for something that's weaponized against you? That's like making a bed for a zombie.
And for women who are searching and looking and hoping that Black men will collectively step up and lead, it's disheartening for the answer to be, well,
women who are searching for such a man need only make him sandwich. I got to get on my t-shirt game. Every Black woman is just one sandwich away from a good man, period. And no, fat women aren't women. It's 52% single and childless. What the fuck? If you meet two Black men, one of them needs a sandwich. The fuck is wrong with you?
It's slow going, but it's going to take time, right? Because that time means generations of Black children, generations of Black women.
Well, apparently that's what her husband is doing, Keith. Her husband is paying all the bills while she is being active in the community. And by being active in the community, you know, every day she's YouTubing, every day she's YouTubing, every day she's YouTubing. That's what she means by being active in the community. You know, telling men what the fuck to do.
Generations of Black people who are falling by the wayside for lack of strong, consistent community leadership. And
notice she said community leadership. She didn't say household leadership. The children are falling by the wayside, not because they don't have a man in the home, but because they don't have a man outside the home teaching them how to set up networks for free. Because they don't have a man outside the home, you know, with a karate studio for free. Because they don't have a man outside the home with a soccer league for free, even though they have all that. But because they don't have men outside the home doing stuff like that. Yeah, it's the community thing. It's not the men in the home. Because a bitch can't close her mouth to hostess and she can't open it to penis. It's not because of that. Nah. This is because they're not getting external free governance from volunteer men. And until 100% of Black men volunteer for kids that only belong to 48% of them, we are going to not submit. But trust me, as soon as you get 100% of y'all involved and not focused on what the fuck we're doing, then we're going to do right by you. Trust us. Remember how well that worked last time.
And hi, D-Red. I was just so disheartened by the fact that,
oh, look at this. Oh, I was just so disheartened. Oh, please. Oh, you're disheartened. You break my heart. You poke my heart. Now she's just a little kitten right now, right? She's just a little kitten waiting for a lion to come. Waiting for a lion to come along and take control, right? I was just so disheartened. Abel's Great One says, I think you mean if black women really wanted black men to lead, they would have voted Trump in overwhelming numbers. Absolutely. Absolutely.
As strongly, when Goddess was up here, as strongly as she spoke about her belief that black women could lead, should lead, and were capable of leading, it literally broke my heart, and it made me sad for all the women who honestly I know for.
So apparently she had on a previous stream, which she also took down, a woman who was saying black women should lead. And she's disappointed, but we're going to hear why. Give me a second.
For a fact in the chat, we're just waiting for a black man to speak just as strongly about the fact that they believed that they ought to be the leaders. And
wrong, fellas. You did the right thing. Whenever you get a bitch that's unwilling to follow, don't lead her. Don't lead her. Don't attempt to lead her. Don't try to argue with a bitch who don't wants to follow you why you should lead. That's a stupid argument. And it's not worth having. Because all she's going to do is say her terms of leadership. I will follow you if ... And I don't want to hear that shit. Because you're not following me. You're going where the fuck I tell you. I'm telling your ass to go in the kitchen and get me a goddamn sandwich. I'm not telling you to follow me. I get my own sandwich and then you get a sandwich. I only want one. If you refuse to follow, to hell with you. I mean it, to hell with you. So congratulations. I was so disheartening because I wanted to see a black man and a black woman fight back and forth on who should be the leader. Just the fact that you want to see that fight means that you're not worthy of leadership. And just the fact that that woman wants to have that fight means that she's not either.
And take over, and that they needed to have a plan, and that these were the things they needed to do. As strongly as that one woman spoke about a matriarchy being what the black community needed, if just one single black man had come to the panel with that level of energy, it would have.
She just wanted, please come to my panel that's led by women with that level of energy. I want your energy.
Made that entire live a success. And I'm just so sad.
That's how she measures success of a live stream.
By that live, because that did not happen. That did not happen. What happened were conversations surrounding why black men were not quite doing things. What happened were conversations around turning to the Lord versus working with your hands and minds. What happened were conversations of.
Why don't you work with your hands and get a man a motherfucking sandwich? Like, isn't like the unemployment rate of black men like pre-pandemic, wasn't it like 7%? Wasn't it like 7%? And it's like 42 or 52% single and childless. And you can't find one who works with his hands or his mind? Bitch, please.
About the oppression or sell of black companies by force. All these things happened.
More shaming language.
What happened were black men, multiple black men speaking up about, well, I think this is a cooperative, right? Where nobody's really the leader. But when you say nobody's really the leader, what you're saying is, I'm not the leader. That's really what's being said.
They're not your leader. Until you get them a motherfucking sandwich, they're not your leader. You have to follow them before they can be your leader. You see this simple shit? This shit is simple as fuck.
I just hope that people understand that. When we say nobody's really the leader, we're working.
So basically, when you proclaim yourself as the leader and nobody follows you, then you're just the fall guy. You're just, listen at this, you're just their shield. You're just the person that takes responsibility when the time comes. If aliens were to land and they say, take me to your leader, and then they just point to some random dude, like, if you had been following me all this time, then we would have had lasers and shit for when the aliens came. But nope. Now I'm your leader. Was I voted in? Was I selected? Was I crowned? Was I ordained? Like, how did I become the leader? How in the hell does one become a leader when bitch is not following? Never accept that position. Never accept a position of responsibility without power. Ever. Because all you get is accountability. Responsibility without power is accountability. Imagine if somebody had a party somewhere and then, they messed up the place. And then they said, who's in charge here? Then they say, oh, you're the leader, because it's like, wait a minute. I told your ass, don't bump the DJ table. I told your ass, don't shit in the toilet. Y'all broke the toilet. You the leader.
Together, well, we can work as a team, but if your idea of a team is that you're not leading, it's literally the same as saying, I'm not the leader.
And if your idea of a team is, I'm not following, it's the same as saying, I'm not the leader.
That was not the goal of my life. The goal of my life was not for me to go harder and for women in the chat to go harder, to be desirous of Black male leadership than the majority of Black men that I brought onto my panel. That was so upsetting for me. That was so bothersome. And I just really want to say to Black men who do want to be in leadership positions and who do not feel the ways and that were overarchingly expressed on my panel, it is not helpful when the appearance is that Black women are going harder for Black male leadership than Black men are going for it.
Because you don't want to force it. If you have to fight for it, well, then we're oppressors, right? Then we're, to quote RBR, we're beating them into submission. Look, bitch, either you're going to get the sandwich or not, period. I don't want to hear shit either way. Either you get the sandwich or you don't. I'm not going to argue with you. Get it or get out, period. There are nations, there are islands, there are subcontinents of stoveless women in this world. Fuck you. Okay? I mean that. Fuck you.
That Black women are more confident in it. It's embarrassing. Can I keep it like 10,000%? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm being genuine. Everybody knows my heart on this issue. It's embarrassing.
Y'all see how she sounds so passionate and sympathetic and blah, blah, blah. Listen at her later. And this is why she took the video down. Oh, but I got a copy. I got a copy.
To start a black men's leadership series on my channel. It's embarrassing to hold up.
And by black man leadership, she's not talking about black men who are head of households. She's talking about black men who are offering free services and shit for the community and not paying attention to what the women are doing. She's talking about that.
Panel on who should lead the community, and the person that...
The community. No, it starts with the family. It goes individual, family, then community, then state, then nation. Once again, individual, family, community, state, nation. Kind of like it starts with, like proton, neutron, and then you have the atom, and then you have the molecule, then you have the compounds and shit like that. Like, that's how it starts. You want men who are not leaders in their families to be leaders in their communities. And you want men who don't have families to be leaders in their communities. Bitch, please. My father opened up a Boy Scout troop. And it helped some other boys, but he did it for me. If he didn't have kids, he wouldn't have did that shit. He did it for me because I needed activity and I wasn't athletic. He didn't do that shit, just because.
That is going the hardest for black men is me.
She sees herself as going the hardest for black men. How hard were you going for white men when he put all those babies in you? Oh, did I say something I shouldn't have said? How hard were you going for white men when he put that baby? Oh, you poked my heart, and he poked your something else.
Where I have black men literally up there contradicting what I'm saying when I'm literally saying you ought to be leading. What is there to contradict?
You're saying that you should be leading the community, not the families.
Do you have any idea how that looks? It looks so bad. It looks so bad. I was so frustrated. I'm so frustrated. I am frustrated. I'm so frustrated.
Are you frustrated?
I'm frustrated.
There you go. You're frustrated.
Not just for myself. I'm frustrated for all the women who were in that chat whose beliefs about black men were reaffirmed because that did not happen.
Hey, let me ask y'all something. This just occurred to me. By the way, Sweet Melody Speaks. Thanks a lot, love. I appreciate you. I like the new name. Appreciate you. All right. And I'd much rather buy a plane ticket and go overseas than try to lead a community. Listen, it's futile to lead people who don't wish to follow. If you find a woman who's willing to follow, then be the head of that household here. And if not, like I say, there are countries full of women who needs leaders and stoves. Countries full of them.
I mean, talk about shooting ourselves in the foot.
You shot yourself in the foot the moment you started the feminist movement.
It was so bad. I mean, I made the live unlisted and put it on my unlisted playlist, but I had to force myself to do that because I really just wanted to delete the whole thing. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was so awful. It was so bad. I literally, it's only the second video I've ever made, the second live I've ever had where I'm just like, whoa, I just wish that just never even occurred. I don't feel anything was accomplished there. I literally don't feel anything was accomplished in that live. Zero was accomplished in that live. That live, I feel, only made the problem worse. I don't think anybody walked away from that live with any help. Everything was wrong with that live. Even the bringing in of the Bible was done so poorly, executed, that it made Christians look bad, Black men look bad. The whole thing was just, honestly, it needed to be thrown in the garbage. I was so bothered by it.
Were you frustrated?
I mean, even if Black male Christians wanted the community to fall behind that leadership, the execution was so bad.
Y'all know how I feel about these Christian bitches. I'm not talking about women who are just Christian. I'm talking about these modern ones who use Christian to just justify each and every personal belief that they have, except submitting. Who try to manipulate the Bible into their own terms.
Of that delivery, it was so trash. It was just all just trash. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. Am I alone? Did you guys not think that was so bad? Am I the only one that felt like that live was literally an absolute train wreck? It was a train wreck. I'm saying it was a train wreck, and I actually believe it.
Exactly. Weaponized Christianity. And they only have like one verse that they constantly repeat over and over again. They got a whole Bible with that one thing highlighted. I'm not even going to say what it is, but yeah, I know what it is.
Male leadership. I'm 40 minutes into my own life, I was so disheartened. And I just became more so as the live went on. I just only kept the live going in the hope that something would redeem itself. And nothing ever redeemed itself. I just was shocked and appalled. And I just... That's why I said I wanted to talk to the men. Men, do you understand what I'm saying? Am I making any sense, or is this just offensive? Because I'm really not trying to be offensive. I'm saying that women who take the position that men should lead, it looks really bad.
Women who take the position that men should lead, then you follow. You don't just take a position. You don't just say it. I think men should lead. That's my lead. That's my position. No, bitch, you follow. You don't just take that position. You follow.
And
it starts in the household. It don't start in the community where you have some guy who's building a garden in some inner city shithole. You don't see a guy like planting tomatoes in some, on the corner of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. You see him doing that, and then you say, "Oh, I'm going to help you plant too." And then he said, "Well, could you get me a sandwich while I plant?" No, I want to plant. I want to do the same thing you doing. It don't start like that. It start with you finding a motherfucking penis and getting it a sandwich. Until that sandwich is gotten, I don't want to hear shit.
Are the strongest proponents of that leadership. Women who believe strongly in swift action and want to get behind that. It looks bad, if we are the ones that are the loudest voices for that? It doesn't look good. It looks so bad, and it's so embarrassing. And then it's like, how do we show our faces and share these opinions if Black men are literally going to contradict us when we do it? How is it that in a chat of that many people, there weren't at least 2 Black men that could come up to just say, absolutely, we should be running the community. Absolutely. Unemphatically.
They constantly say the community. They want you to skip the household. They want you to skip the household and just go straight to the community.
This is what we should be doing. We simply need to get a plan together. We need to, whatever it is, just come and speak with power on that. Why did that not happen? I'm so lost. I'm confused.
So right now she's setting the term of leaderships. Like, why haven't you done this? Then we would follow. Maybe, probably, presumably. Shout out to David Johnson, the asshole. It says, bitch, get me a sandwich. Exactly. Thanks a lot. Exactly.
Listen to what the sister said. She said, I agree with your stance on Black men leading. Unfortunately, what you're expressing now is why I voted that Black women should lead. I don't think the collective of Black men.
This is Pan-Africana. Whenever you get these super hotep chicks, they are always on some matriarchal shit. Basically, hotepism is a way to get the men focused on fighting white supremacy and get the women focused on, creating a matriarchy. Period. That's all it is. So when you see them with their incense and their juju beads and blah, 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 it's all the same shit. It's all a ploy. It's smoke and mirrors.
And what to lead. They only want to control. What do I say to that? If I hold a panel and the women are outnumbered by the men, but the majority of the men aren't on the same page as the person hosting the panel who's pro-Black male leadership? What do I say to people like her?
How long have you been pro-Black male leadership? Because you spent your entire youth sucking white penis.
I can't say anything. It's a bad look, you guys. It doesn't look good. It's so embarrassing. Like, I'm so frustrated by that panel. I just don't know what to do. Kim said that's his position. No, it's okay. Don't worry.
See, here's the thing. They know that if you're focused on the white man, then you're just, you can't see the entire situation clearly. Once you take your focus off a group of people who haven't collectively attacked in decades, maybe even over a century, once you take it past that, you start to say, you know something? This is an ugly bitch. Like, I've been so focused on the white man and the community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't notice that my wife was fat as fuck. I didn't notice that. Oh, Keith, you have no idea. You have no idea. You haven't seen Mad, that Black man start to see through her bullshit until I start to show her that I see through her bullshit. Watch what happens when I show her bullshit. Then we'll see how mad she gets. And then I'm so submissive. I'm so submissive. You're going to see the real Irene Yvette. There she is. Isn't that what you said? There she is. There's the real Irene Yvette. Watch this.
About the typo. I'm curious, what do the men have to say about this? I mean, do you guys understand where I'm coming from? Men, do you understand where I'm coming from on this? That it becomes very problematic. Because that's how, I mean, if you want to lose the last vestige of Black female support, it's going to be throwing us Black.
You're not the last vestige of Black female support because you're not even support. Let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all something right quick. Get the lights up, people. This is a vestige. Danica Dope Discussions. Hold on. I can't find it. All right, give me a second. Well, shout yourself out if you hear it. I'm talking about Chantel, Simone. I'm talking about Melody. I'm talking about those. Those are vestige. Those are the women I support. You know, the type of women that chicks like you want to call pygmies and shit like that. These are actual submissive women. Women who are looking to be submissive in their household, and they're not waiting for a man to move a mountain before he does it. They're not just talking the shit, they're actually doing it. And while their husbands are out working and they have the house to themselves, they're actually encouraging other women to do it because they're not in a position to lead men. That is the last vestige. Your old bitch that's out of eggs, giving Black men leftover pussy in exchange for resources.
Black women under the bus who would like Black male leadership. When you literally drive the school bus over us multiple times, what will there be to salvage?
When you run a school bus over something over and over again, what's left to salvage is the same thing, is just as valuable as your pussy. You have been ran through over and over and over again. What's left to salvage from you?
What would there be to salvage? You're throwing us under the bus. The fact that the conversation was so derailed should have provoked at least one Black man to come up and be like, well, Tess tried to.
Y'all see this? Y'all see that? See how she predicts Black men's behavior? This is what you're supposed to do. When this happens, this is how you're supposed to behave. If you do not behave this way, you are not a leader.
To come up and be like, this conversation is a mess. I don't know what these guys are talking about, but absolutely Black men should be leading. And brother, if you don't feel that you ought to be leading, if you feel like you need to be a co-pilot, you know, you both are just going to be co-pilots and nobody's going to be the pilot, well, let me come up here and talk some sense. Where was that on my panel? I mean, some of the conversation was so nonsensical to me. Well, whoever at the time has the best idea, it's like, okay, if we're driving a car, there's a driver. I might have a better idea for a route, but I can't take the wheel and just change the direction that the driver is going. It doesn't work that way. But why do I have to say that, but then I have the majority of Black men I bring onto a panel not agree with that? Especially if I'm heralding you to be the leader. Why does a Black woman come up?
I'm saying that you should be the leader. Why aren't you agreeing with what I say? Huh? Sweetie, the person in the driver's seat is either the leader or the chauffeur. You want a chauffeur who thinks he's the leader. Oh, you're in the driver's seat, so you're the leader. I'm just going to need you to put this hat on. Oh, and you look good in black. And I'm going to tell you exactly where to go. But you're the leader because you're in the driver's seat.
And she talks with more strength about Black female leadership. She spoke with so much power about Black female leadership. She made zero excuses. I attacked her with everything. You guys saw me. I challenged her on every point she made. Are you sure Black women are so smart? What are you going to do about the fact that men are physically stronger?
Hold on, let me slow it down. I want to hear this part.
Don't already run the world. I literally grilled this woman and she didn't waver. She made not one single solitary excuse.
Because y'all already read from the same playbook.
Not even one. For why Black women have stepped up to the plate while still asserting that they should be in control. My question is, where was that energy from the men? Why was the person most secure in their stance unwilling to so much as even make an excuse for the lack of leadership that was being exhibited? She quickly dismissed Black women who weren't doing anything by saying it is not all women, it's only capable women who ought to be leading. Why did she have that rhetoric? And I am challenging that. But then if I turn to the Black men, they're talking about, well, just hold the line. They're talking about, well, we're going to be co-pilots together. We're just going to be like two co-pilots. They're talking about, well, whoever makes the best decision at once at that time should be the leader.
All right. I'm sick of the monologue. I'm gonna just move forward to the part that I really want to get into.
This is how the war is gonna be lost, you guys.
Oh gosh. Okay, so now she has a crew. Now keep in mind, she likes to roll with dudes, these community-minded people. You know, the kind that don't feel that mulattoes, like her kids, are Black. So they want to build a community that excludes her kids. But she don't care about that because she's such a great wife and mother, right?
Black women agree. And Black women, if you guys have other questions, you can ask. I'm sure the brothers will answer. If Black women agree to ignore Black men who aren't actively working in the community, meaning we don't give them our...
Now, remember, she said if Black women choose to ignore Black men who aren't actively working in the community, that's her criteria. That's her criteria for leadership. You must be actively working in the community, which means like charity events and things like that. Basically, giving parts of your time and money freely to the community so others can access it without actually doing anything, not even following the people who are the quote unquote leaders of the community. So say you have an empty field, right? Full of garbage. And you see somebody out there picking it up. Some people might say that's a janitor, that's a cleanup man, that's a groundskeeper, that's an unpaid groundskeeper. But they will call him a leader. But what is he leading? What is he leading? Y'all remember when Forrest Gump became a multimillionaire, and he kept mowing that lawn for free? And because I just like doing it, I mowed that football field for free. Y'all remember that? That's how they see you. You're not a leader unless you know you get like a group of guys and they all start doing it. But so you're the leader, but what are they? They're groundskeepers. And that's another reason why they call these guys leaders. Because they want these guys, the guys on our panel, to lead us into picking up their shit. And by shit, I mean like bastards and all kind of stuff like that. They want to lead us into picking up their crap. All right, so David Johnson, the asshole, says their whole angle is if you just did this, exactly, I would follow you. Or if you just did that. It's all a ploy to keep men chasing their tails while they continue to control the household and community terribly. Exactly, David. And what's the title of this video? Topping from the bottom. That's what that is. I'm going to explain that to her, but you just said it beautifully. This is topping from the bottom. That's what that is. It's conditional submission, and the condition is that you submit. Oh, I'll submit to you if you just do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I'll submit to you if you just continue to do this. And then next thing you know, you're picking up the community and she's sipping the lemonade? What the hell? I'll submit to you as soon as you get me a sandwich. I promise. I'll submit to you as soon as you buy my lady products. I promise. Jermaine Lewis. Irene let the white man fertilize her best eggs, her only ones. Like, she's all egged out, I'm sure. And, you know, those were the only ones fertile. Let the white man fertilize her best eggs in her youth and has the audacity to show her face in the black manosphere. And they embrace her. They embrace her. Even though they disagree with what she did, they disagree with her kids. They think her kids is mutts. They think her kids is all the things that they call Jessica X. Even though she still unites with them and they her. While other housewives are actually forming bake sales, while they're sewing dresses for the Benevolent Society, this is what she's doing. She's uniting with people that hate her own effing kids. She's a shit mother and a shit wife. And a shit jump off.
Our energy to talk about them. We don't choose them as partners. And if we don't do any of those things, right, that's gonna shrink the pool of black men for black women. And
so basically, she's saying that black women, we can only date community activists. Are you kidding me? Name one other group of people, of women, who only date community activists. What kind of shit is this? What kind of touch fever brain comes up with women should only mess with community activists? That doesn't make any sense. What about just a hard-working guy that installs cable and comes home and wants a beer? In other communities, he has a submissive wife that gets him a sandwich. And she's out being a community activist while he's out installing cable. I want a guy that makes 6 figures and works 60 hours a week, like Kevin said. And he has to build a community. He has to be active in the community. What? For your used vagina? Fuck that.
We already don't have enough to go around.
52% of black men are single. We don't have enough to go around. 52% of black men are single and childless. We don't have enough to go around. 52% of black men are single and childless. We don't have enough to go around.
So then what does that then in action look like in the field of companionship for black women and things like that? Like, where do our priorities lie there? So if we agree to ignore all these men and to simply focus on those who are doing the work or who are...
Just the fact that that's proposed. I propose that you ignore all the men who are not community activists.
Supporting people that are doing the work by helping them, then, then what do we say to black women about that loneliness they're going to feel and not having a man directly in their household to lead them?
Well, what I would say go ahead, bro.
I feel like if a woman is looking for that productive dude and you're not putting your energy into those type of men who aren't showing those leadership qualities you're looking for, it will force some change. So I think the pool would actually expand. I do believe the pool would actually expand the same way for the same.
Oh God. Y'all ever notice that with black women, the solution is always a sexual embargo? Ever notice that? Ever notice how they're always on some Chirac shit? Oh, well, I'll just stop fucking the guys that I don't want because that's all I got, really. Say they have a problem. Say they want to get brothers to take the vaccine. Oh, well, I'll just stop fucking the men that don't take the vaccine. Why am I so single? I use sex to leverage men all the time. Why am I so single? Because you use sex to leverage men all the time, and men don't like being controlled like that, bitch.
Same way for these dudes who sit here and feel like black women aren't being cooperative. If you're sitting here doing what you're supposed to do and you're doing, again, the basics, we're taking this from the basics and we're moving up. So you're being that provider. You're being that protector. You're showing her that you're that man worth following. It would force some type of change. I feel like this, and you've heard me say this before, Irene, there's too much gratification. People want the results right now. Now they're not willing to put the work in to get it. So, there just needs to be some form of standard that you're holding. Again, I can't speak for the women. I can only speak to my brothers. We have to be holding ourselves to.
So here's a man that calls himself a leader. I cannot speak to the women. I can only speak to the men. See, this is the end result. Somebody who is completely unfocused on what women are doing. I can only speak to the men. No, you can speak to the women. I can only speak to the men. No, you can really speak to the women. You lead them too. That's part of being a household leader.
To a standard. So if you have a brother that's around you that's not doing it right, if you can help him and he's receptive to the help him. But if he's not trying to do anything, leave that person alone, man. He's dead weight.
Yes, I don't care.
He's dead weight. So I believe it would force a little bit of a correction if black women didn't give some of these men that energy.
I agree. I agree.
Number 16 says, because that is what a lot of them only have to offer. True. If you can't submit to the extent to where you can't make a simple sandwich and get it for somebody, then that's all you have to offer is your sexual function. And you're leveraging that because it's all you got. What do you think will happen once black men realizes that other groups of women have both a pussy and they can make a sandwich? And that's why you fear the manosphere.
Everything, I ain't gonna say everything, but I said the majority of the things men do is to attract women. Men don't care about no Benz or no Lexus or no whatever. We get that because women like it. We don't care about the clothes that dudes brag about they got. Dudes do all that to attract women. So if the standard became community activity became the standard that women had.
Community activity. You see, that's a common theme throughout this conversation. Community activity is the standard. I will withhold sex from you if and until you participate in community activity.
Men too. Every man will be an activist. Every brother will be out here doing whatever, doing, you know what I mean? So because most of the things we do is to attract women. So if women held men to a standard and say, okay, I hear you talking.
So what he's describing is a leadership of women. Most things men do is to attract women. So if women command this is the terms of attraction, then the men will follow. But you're not the leader at that point, are you? At that point, you are not the leader. You are a man that is following the path of least resistance to pussy. You are a follower. You're suggesting how men take leadership position, and your answer to that question is to follow it. Well, if women told us to do it and threatened to take pussy away, then we would have to. Then and only then, when we follow our sexual urges and do what women tell us, then we'll be leaders. This is irony. Irony. What do you care what a woman puts on her hair? We care what they put on their head and in their head. How about that?
Brother, but what is you doing? You know, okay, well, get back to me when you doing X, Y, and Z, whatever's needed in your community, or you know, you trying to help with this, that, the third, or you meeting with this brother or this sister that's doing X, Y, and Z. Once you start holding these brothers to that standard, the brothers they're not gonna have no choice but to get active. So I agree with everything the brother says.
But it's not. But D-Red, it's not. It's but see, that's the thing. When it comes to being a leader, bro, I feel like a true like me. I'm not worried about what a woman's going to do, bro.
At this point, I hopped on the thing.
I'm not.
That's twin. He's saying, I'm not worried about what women are going. When it comes to being a leader, I'm not worried about what women are going to do. Huh? See, that's exactly where they want you. They want you so focused on community, on white supremacy, et cetera, that you're not focused on them. Being a leader is not worrying about what your subordinates are doing. Are you a fucking idiot?
I'm going to do me. Now, like I said, when the do we are, like you said, if we're talking on the base level, like you said, men do shit to attract women. So if a woman's sitting here saying you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, you right. You right. You not. It's going.
You don't think part of it is instructing women though, because that's going to be the question. Is the most dysfunctional voices tend to be the loudest, and I think that's what the sister was saying is there are so many of these voices. Like, how do we drown them out? That's what she was asking. Like, how do we drown out all these negative voices when they are...
How do we drown out all of these negative voices? By getting it a sandwich. That's how you drown out the negative voices. The reason why they have a voice is because they're not eating a sandwich. By the way, by negative voices, she's talking about ours. She's talking about all the 180 people here. Get the likes up, please. How do we drown out all the negative voices? By filling it with a sandwich. Y'all see the impact the manosphere is having on them? Because they're going with this ignore the bitch behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz shit. Ignore the person behind the corner. And focus on ... But because of the manosphere, we're pointing out that the wizard is actually a woman with a machine.
The same. Just know all of us aren't the same. I understand it's hard.
The scripture says you'll know them by their fruit.
I understand it's hard because I listen to some of these people talk and I'm like, yo, y'all are a walking embarrassment. Y'all are a walking embarrassment. Y'all making...
Oh, you do men justice.
Us look bad, and y'all are literally giving ammunition for the shit that these women say. Because they're telling the truth. They're telling the truth. They'll sit here and say, we don't feel protected, and you'll have a black man.
This nigga's just... Listen to how he talks. They don't feel protected. See, that's them throwing out another random criteria. That's another dummy mission. I don't feel protected. Why? Is there an asteroid coming your way, bitch? Like, what? Why don't you feel protected? You ever see like a common theme of shutting the fuck up from people who actually don't feel protected? I am a part of God's chosen, and this is 1940s Germany. I don't feel protected, which is why I'm shutting the fuck up. I am here, chained to a boat on passage to places unknown, where I will work a cotton or tobacco or sugar field for the rest of my life. I am not protected here, which is why I'm shutting the fuck up. I am a 50s housewife whose husband is a drunkard. I never know when he is going to give me a legal ass whooping, which is why I shut the fuck up. I am an Amish person, and even though I am well built and I work the field all day, I'm ripped and I'm huge, I am a pacifist. And I refuse to fight under any circumstances. That is why when outsiders come to the Amish community, I shut the fuck up. See, people who really fear, who actually fear protection and for their safety, they practice the art of shutting the fuck up. The loudest person in the room is the person that feels safest.
Come out of his mouth and say, I ain't protecting none of these bitches. Am I lying, Irene?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I think a lot of times, especially for...
Well, if you shut the fuck up and get a sandwich, then you will see differences.
For women who lean more towards feminism, sometimes when I hear the men talk, I'm like, this is exactly what the feminists say you guys are like. It doesn't help for you to come and like basically co-sign their arguments in your rhetoric. I don't know if they think about it that way, but I just try not to focus on them. Royalty Prince, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Hold on, my phone. I gotta switch over to my other phone. No. A little
Hello?
bit. My phone is staticky. Let me check over to my iPhone 9. Hold on. Let me.
This nigga mentioned the brand of his phone. Let me check over to my iPhone 9. I got an iPhone 9. This is an iPhone 9. When no phone I got the iPhone 9. Hey, Irene Yvette, I got the iPhone 9. See? I'll protect you. I got the iPhone 9. See, you screaming about protection, and these other dudes, they don't want to protect you because they don't even have an iPhone 9. Fellas, she's not going to fuck you.
My iPhone.
Hello?
Hey, look.
Okay.
Yeah.
She booted that nigga off.
What's
Yes,
going
Uncle.
on?
Hi, Uncle Lot.
How you doing? Yeah, you know what? I mean, my first thing before I get into it is don't beat yourself up or be hard on yourself about, you know what I'm saying, the results of what occurred, because I mean, it's just a lot of people. I mean, for the most part, most males are, if you busy, you ain't gonna be able to come up anyway. So maybe that could be something or justification for why you didn't get a more healthier result. Another.
There's an iPhone 8 and an iPhone X. Read 10. There is no iPhone 9. See, you ain't up on that. That's special limited edition. He the only one that got that. See, back when Steve Jobs was alive, he wrote in the will, give this nigga an iPhone 9 and nobody else. That's extremely limited edition, Complex. You don't know about that. I got that iPhone 9. Yeah, it looks like the iPhone 8, and I erased the 8 and I just drew a 9 on it with a permanent marker, but this is the iPhone 9. I got the iPhone 9. I'm an Android man and I don't give a shit. Oh, look at the white shoes. What the hell? Where's the... Oh, shit. I hope I didn't fuck it up. Hold up.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
there
I
we
would
go.
like to say in reference to the male leadership, like the my ideals or what I got planned for as leadership is something that I'm not going to speak on until it's fruitful. But what I would want to say is that my focus is mostly going to be with children. And it's going to take once it start bearing fruit, it's not going to take no 20 years or 50 years. It should be bearing fruit in 3 to 5 years. But what I'm saying.
Okay, here's a problem with what he said. Once I get it into motion, it's not going to take 20 or 15 years. It'll take 3 to 5 years. But the time you're taking to get it into motion counts towards the 20 years. His intentions are good. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not going to like shit on somebody that want to help other people's kids, you know, but yeah, you just got the concept a little off. All right, Mr. Fantastic. Thanks a lot. He says, Make dudes say anything. Hashtag iPhone 9 game. Exactly. You could tell that these dudes are trying to peacock for the chick. Protection. Oh, I'm a community man. I'm a leader. I pick up other people's shit and wipe other people's kids' ass because I'm a leader. They are saying and doing anything to get closer to Irene Yvette's tits. Trust me, I am geographically closer to her tits than anybody, and I don't give a shit about them. Believe that.
Is that my goal? I'm not worrying about, or I'm not claiming any. If you're a male and you're not responsible and you're not accountable, you're not part of man. You're not no man to me. Now I understand we had previous conversations in reference to, but I don't claim you as a man, and I don't think you're not part of my tribe.
So this guy thinks he the gatekeeper of masculinity. I don't claim you as a man if you're not taking care of other people's kids. Y'all see this? She put the definition of leadership and manhood out there. They're following that definition and trying to instill it on others. That's what she's trying to do.
So what I want to say is I'm not putting anything on women. So what I'm saying is that men need to, as a lot of other people said, hold these people who don't handle their business and misrepresent us as men accountable for them being irresponsible. Now, I have a daughter, and based on what I see, and she's about to be 10 years old. I am afraid for what I see in her future because I'm raising a queen. I'm raising a lady. And
I'm raising a queen. All right, let's go with this.
It's kind of shaky and it's kind of scary. So most of my motivation for leadership in a constructive way and not a destructive way. I'm accustomed to leadership, but I used to be a leader in a destructive way. But because now that I'm being
I hope this isn't a former Pookie talking. I used to be a leader in a destructive way. Now I'm raising my daughter to be a queen. Oh gosh. Unless she's the queen of Sandwich Island, I don't want to have shit to do with that.
I'm being constructive based on my daughter and me getting and the children that I am responsible for. So my motivation is so they don't have to. My motivation for leadership is based upon me wanting them to live a more healthier experience.
Hold on, somebody said something interesting. Here we go. I bet you Irene nipples are dark. Well, I suspect that given the sag of her titties, that it's actually like brown. I think that most of her tits is areola. I think she has a huge areola. That 51% of her tit is covered by areola. I shit you not. With nothing for babies to latch on to.
Experience than I had to go through and deal with, where I didn't even have no childhood. But what I'm saying is that that's my goal and my purpose as a man in leadership. And I don't claim no male that's not responsible as a man, and I don't claim.
Listen at how he's peacocking. I don't claim those males. Notice how she just subtly says what she wants, and they're just like full of piss and vinegar. Like, I don't claim any of those men. I'm not those men. They want to separate themselves. You see how easy it is for women like this to cause division? I don't claim any of those males. I'm with you. my queen, and my daughter, my future queen.
Man that's not accountable for his own actions as a man.
So if you're not building the community, that's not being accountable for your own actions. If you're not picking up some, inner city football field or some shit like that, you're not because I didn't fuck it up. Now did I? Like, being accountable for your actions means that this is something that you did. If you're not mentoring kids, other people's kids, you're not being accountable for your own actions. I didn't have these kids.
That's my take on it.
Thank you, Uncle.
Well, if you've been around YouTube,
Or is it,
bro, you
look,
hear a
do I
lot of
always
dudes
say
that
it
blame
wrong?
everything, everybody else.
GameChanger. I'm so afraid of what you're gonna say. I'm really
You know
hoping
you're
that
about to say something ridiculous.
No, I don't want to say that because you never know. You really don't know.
He's about to say something ridiculous.
What? Twin, we don't know that. I do want to hear what he has to say. Hey, GameChanger.
How you doing, Irene?
I'm good. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah, generally I understand what you're talking about. So
okay, wait, what do you think we're talking about?
So it's my understanding that you're talking about the lack of protection, and there's a general feeling that the black man has failed black women collectively.
No, that's no. That's not what we're talking about.
That's the response that I'm getting. See how she claims to be this woman who is, I'm so looking to submit. However, she is interrupting men. But the general thing is about black male leadership of black women.
Should black men be?
Jesus Christ. So I just said the general theme is black male leadership of black women, or black man leadership of black women. I just said that. Watch. Now remember I said that. This conversation is about black man's leadership of black women.
Leading black women.
Right.
And if so, how can black men maneuver in ways that is supportive of black women who support their leadership?
How can black men maneuver to support women who support their leadership? Y'all see how she's trying to flip it? Support me because I support you. But I don't actually support you. I just want you to support me.
And specifically because I had a live earlier today and I didn't have any black men. For the most part, the majority of the black men that came up were not on the we should lead bandwagon. Like that wasn't they weren't really trying to lead. And it just came off really badly. And I was a little bothered by that because it's like, I can't be up here saying we should have black leadership and then most of the black men.
All right, Keith Lamont, it's good that you're here because the part that you were talking about comes up right now.
Aren't on that page. So the question is like, do you feel that black men should be in a leadership position, GameChanger?
Well, I feel like the ones who aren't. You see, whenever you find yourself in a position where a subordinate, and in this case, black women, choose their leader, then they often will choose the one that's most lenient and have the least leadership qualities. Think of it as a child who gets to pick their parent.
But I don't want to talk about black women. I really don't. I don't. I just want to talk about.
And there you go. There you go. But I don't want to talk about black women. I want to talk about black man's leadership of black women without talking about black women. Huh? Yeah, I want you to talk about black male leadership of black women, but don't talk about black women. Don't call out the actual problem. And that is the lack of family structure. Because black women are refusing to follow appropriate leaders. They're going after the men that they can manipulate. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about how can black men get women who don't want to follow to how can we get these black men to lead a group of women that's not willing to follow? Let's talk about that, game changer. I'm the leader of this conversation. I, as a black woman, am going to lead this conversation full of black men by limiting what we should talk about. Y'all see this, right? Y'all see the tech? You see that? Don't peek behind the curtain. Stop peeking behind the curtain. See the lens that they go through to hide the truth. It's going to get worse because, it's me.
About black men leading, not what black men.
We can't really talk about leaders, love, without talking about followers. Let's be fair.
We absolutely can. We
can talk about leaders without talking about followers. We could talk about generals without talking about colonels, and that's exactly how leadership works. Like platoon leaders don't actually talk about platoons. Coaches don't actually talk about players.
We absolutely can, because it's already been established in this conversation that if a black woman doesn't want to fall under a man's leadership, then that's not a woman, that's his problem. So we are only talking to women who do want to fall under black male leadership. So there's no reason to.
Now, what I said was the ones that do pick their leaders. So we're talking about the ones that do want to fall under black male leaderships as long as they pick the leader.
Talk about any other women.
But if I'm talking about women who want to fall under the leadership, then I'm still talking about black women.
Right, but you don't need to make any point about picking bad leaders because we're talking about women who want good leaders. That's the topic.
Oh, gosh. Just ignore the women. Ignore all the majority of black women who are not picking decent leaders. And let's just focus on the ones who are picking good leaders. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to talk about the black women who are picking good leaders right now.
Of the conversation, women who want good leaders and want to get behind that leadership. And how black men can be supportive so that we don't look like we're out here.
And how can black men be supportive? I thought the woman was the supporter. I thought the woman was the support system. Y'all see the language. Y'all starting to see through this whole topping from the bottom thing that she's doing. How can black men be supportive of black women? But I thought it was you who were trying to support us. Oh, you're topping from the bottom. I get it.
Asking for good male leadership, but then the men are like, well, we don't want to lead. We want you guys to lead, or we want to have equal, we can be co-pilots together. Like, how can that not go on? Because then it becomes embarrassing if we're saying.
She's just going to keep narrowing the scope of the question, by the way.
We want good male leadership, but the men aren't saying that they want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Typically, women who want good male leadership, black male leadership, have it. And they don't have to ask for it. They just get it. So, very true statement. A black woman who really wants black male leadership, they just have it. It's not like there's a bunch of guys who are turning down a pick-me with a sandwich in her hand. Like, we're not turning down en masse pick-me's with a bunch of sandwiches in their hand. It's just not happening. It's just not. That's not really open for discussion at that point. Like,
I really think that's true because every person. I think environment and exposure has a lot to do with that because every person that maybe, especially if the community is not abundant with these kind of leaders.
It's also not abundant with followers, but you don't want to address the women who are not followers. What percent are followers? And I guarantee that of the 50% or 52% of Black men who are childless, single and childless, would embrace those follower chicks. Are you sure that that's true? Yes, I am. Vulcans, thanks a lot, brother. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the $5 super chat.
Every woman doesn't have the opportunity to grow up in spaces where she sees Black men that are good examples of leadership. So I don't think you can fault somebody if they have not come along that kind of person or been exposed to that. That's why a lot of Black women doubt that it exists, because they haven't really seen that exemplified in their personal lives. I don't know that that's fair to say if you haven't seen it, it's because you're not seeking it. I don't think that's a fair statement.
Well, you don't actually seek it as a woman. It seeks you and you accept it and you embrace it. Now, this is also true. This is also true. How many fellas be in chicks' DMs who just shows like a little bit of submission, just like an ankle worth of submission, and brothers be all over her? Now, say women have like all kind of goodies, right? Titties, gluteus maximus.
No, this isn't going to work because my last live went downhill and I can't.
How's that downhill? Women have attributes that attract men. If you are truly a woman who follows, then you'll find a leader. See, she is acting like there's just like these gorgeous Black women in the community that are walking around like, oh, I'm beautiful and I'm gorgeous and I'm a virginity and I'm just looking for a Black man to lead me and eat this sandwich. Will there, please, is there a single Black man that'll fuck me and eat my sandwich? Y'all see the illusion and delusion she's trying to create? David Johnson says, they want to talk about everything dealing with Black men leadership except Black women submit. Exactly. To Black men leadership. Ha ha ha. It's all manipulation and misdirection. Exactly. That's why I said topping from the bottom. Topping from the bottom, and that is why she silenced me every time I call out the bullshit. Oh, she'll never come here. Just like Steve Dedeen, she hides behind the mute button.
I can't do it again. I really just want you to talk about what men can do.
I really just want you to talk about what men can do. Y'all see this? Y'all see this? We're just talking about the men. We're talking about Black men leading and Black women following, but we're just talking about the men. Oh, this is classic. And remember, fellas, she took this down. She took this down. She didn't want anybody to hear this.
To leave. That is the only thing I care about. I don't want to hear
really
anything
narrow.
about I just want to hear what men can do to lead, because I already had one live that was trash. And I just don't want another live that's trash, because this isn't going to help the situation. Like the words leaving your mouth about breasts and butts and all that, that's not going to help anything. It's only going to make the problem worse.
Women have the ability to seduce men. Stop pretending like they don't. You know that they do, because that's what you do. That's what you're doing now to these poor gentlemen who are bragging about their iPhone 9s. Women have the ability to seduce men. They can either use their powers of seduction to find a leader and get them a motherfucking sandwich, or they could play stupid pussy game and titty games that you're playing with these dudes, with these iPhone 9 niggas.
I don't know if you're trying to make it worse or what's going on, but I'm trying to ask you to just not do that for once. Just don't do it. It can't help anything. it can't help anything. It's not going to help anything. And I already went through this once.
Can't help anything. It can't help anything. It can't help anything. It's not going to help anything. You won't help anything. You won't help anything. I can't help anything. You're not helping anything. No, I'm not helping push your agenda.
Today with just inability of having a conversation that was simply focused on what Black male leaders are going to be doing.
Yep, this conversation is simply focused on what Black male leaders, not men, what Black male leaders are going to do. This is a conversation about what can you do for me? I'm dissatisfied with your performance as men. What can you do for me to make up for it? That's what this conversation is.
Without speaking about us, just what are you doing?
Without speaking about us, she just keep drilling that in. She just keep drilling that in. Y'all hear this, fellas? Y'all hear this?
Right? I don't know if you've seen my men's leadership series,
No,
GameChanger, but maybe you should watch.
As I understand it, her man's leadership series is just a bunch of community-minded men. This is what I'm doing for the community. I started this, and this. I am the president of society to teach Black men, to teach Black boys ballet in Detroit. Because young Black men in Detroit need ballet. It's full of niggas like that, I'm certain.
Because I have men that have built institutions, you know, some have newspapers,
Yeah, exactly.
some have schools.
First of all, and this isn't me just shitting on these guys. This is just like a common. Well, I'm not even gonna say it.
You know, some run mentoring agencies, and they.
So basically, she's pointing out guys who are giving free services to the community. These are guys that are giving me free shit. And I am going to champion these guys who are giving me free shit by letting them look at the top of my titties. No, Greg Glass. Of course they're not STEM or business owners because that benefits the man. It doesn't benefit the community. You know, like Country Kitchen, a good place to work. Or excuse me, I mean a good place to twerk.
Up for an hour straight, and women is there. They don't come up. When I brought women up, most of them glossed over it like it didn't matter, and they talk for an hour straight about leadership without ever speaking about women. So that's what I'm asking for right now. If you can't do that, then I don't know, like how you should.
Hey, this reminds me of, and I had that feeling when I was up there. There was an episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns told an employee, he said, "Tell me why I shouldn't fire you without using the letter E." And he was like, "I'm a good work guy." That's what she's trying to do. And then if you fail in that endeavor, because the problem isn't with the willingness to lead, it's the willingness to follow. If you fail in that endeavor, she'll say you're not worthy of leadership and I'm disappointed in you.
To this particular conversation, like maybe a future one, but maybe not this one.
So Irene, this is what I was talking about when I said he was going to say something ridiculous, because he was going to talk about. I don't want to put him down though, because that's no. But see, this is I'm not going to be disrespectful at all.
This dude thinks that he's dirty macking. You're not any macking.
I'm just going to say this. It doesn't matter what she has. It doesn't.
Listen and listen good. This is the end result. This twin guy is the end result of what they want for Black men. Not to focus on Black women at all. Focus on everything else but what they're doing so they can take over. Listen closely to him.
It doesn't matter what she's going to entice you with. It does. You as a man have to accept it. And are you disciplined enough to sit here and stay on your purpose and avoid it when necessary?
You as a man are going to have to accept it. You're going to have to accept it. The bitch is fat. You as a man are going to have to accept it. The bitch got fake hair. You as a man is going to have to accept it. The bitch want me to go half on $800 wigs. You as a man are going to have to accept it. The bitch got one big titty and one small one. You as a man are going to have to accept it. Pretty much anything a black woman say, do, behave, look, anything at all, you as a man are going to have to accept it. Because that's what manhood is. Putting up with your woman's shit.
It doesn't matter. Again, leadership is not dependent on what she's doing. Because if she's not willing to follow.
Leadership is not dependent on what she's doing? I literally think this dude is retarded. Oh, excuse me. Regarded. I literally think that this man is regarded.
And the only thing she is bringing to the table is a set of ass, is an ass and some titties. She's not worth my time.
She's not bringing that. I mean, I would like those two things and a sandwich.
I need a good support system. Because even leaders get tired. Even leaders need some encouragement. So again, that's why I said he's going to say something ridiculous.
What do you mean encouragement? What, you want some type of cheerleader? While you're out picking up other people's shit? You want somebody to encourage you? That's not encouraging, that's commanding.
You shouldn't be, as a leader, why are you focused on what she's doing? You're on your purpose as a man.
Well, my purpose is what I choose for myself, not, and if it's not community leadership, then so what? But it's like, why are you focused on what she's doing? Because I am her leader. Leaders should always focus on what their subordinates are doing. That's what leadership is. That's kind of like saying, as a parent, why are you focused on? Hold on real quick, brother. That's kind of like saying, why as a parent are you focused on what your children are doing? You're supposed to. That's just how leadership works.
So,
okay, so listen to his response to that.
If my woman is on if me and my woman are on the same on the same sheet of music, why am I worried about what she's doing? She's supporting my dream. I'm leading us in one direction. She's following me. Why would I be worried about what she's doing if she's supporting my dream?
Well,
so like I said, you're comparing women to children.
I mean, if you wrote the music, then she's already following you. And you want to make sure she's following you properly. That's what leadership is.
I'm looking at that woman. I'm looking at that woman as she is. She's an adult. She's an adult who's going to support me, so that way I can stay focused on my purpose.
Exactly. Y'all see this? This dude is completely snowed. Basically, ignore the woman. She's going, if you ignore her, she's just going to stay on your same page of music. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I be focused on?
Of course you don't know what I'm talking about.
On her. She's focused on what I'm focused on.
Oh, yeah. Because she said so. So, yeah, once again, the whole theme of this is stop focusing on Black women and focus on something else. Focus on your music.
I'm sorry, GameChanger. Can Royalty try to come in because he was having problems earlier?
He was having problems with his iPhone 9.
Royalty?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm having a little difficulties over here. One moment. I'm trying to make it work.
No, it's fine.
My phone's not working.
All three of my phones aren't working. Yeah, baby, I got 3 phones. None of them work, though. I got a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, and a Mercedes. None of them work, though. I got the iPhone 9.
Yeah, I'm in static. One moment. Hold on.
MK said, Irene Yvette, if you want a decent conversation, you need to boot him off. I don't, okay, this is what I'll say. I know nobody, and I know this now, nobody really wants to hear a game changer, but I don't know.
Yeah, I got 3 times more viewers than you had at this time, bitch. All right.
I honestly think, and game changer, don't fail me, okay, that if you give him an opportunity, that he will say something that's beneficial.
I just did. You're the one not giving me the opportunity. Let's not talk about the women. If you give him an opportunity, you're the one stopping my opportunity.
So I don't want to be, because how many times have you been on my channel, Game Changer? Like, what? Is this like your 3rd time or 2nd time?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, so he hasn't even been over here much.
I forget. What species is that? You nerds know. Like those of you who are nerds, y'all know. I'm one of those species. What are you, a Jedi? You waving your hands like that? I'm a Targaryen. Mind tricks don't work on me. I am sure that Game Changer will behave himself. I am sure that Game Changer will behave yourself. Mind tricks don't work on me. Neither does tit tricks. It don't work. Your pussy has no power here. RBR says, Irene wants black men to lead the pink pill nuts to white men. Probably. They're leveling up to bottom shelf Brad and having their kids, apparently. All right. David Johnson says, black women be like, worry about everything and everybody else on the team except me. Unless I call you, then come, unless I tell you not to. Yeah. And they call that protection. That's how you spell protection, David Johnson.
So I don't want to just treat him badly based. I don't have many, and I haven't had any interactions with Game Changer. I don't think anything's personally passed between us that I need to treat him any kind of way in this moment. So I'm still hoping. I mean, he has the opportunity to demonstrate who he is to me. So, Royalty Art, did you fix what was going on with you?
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. We could hear you before.
Oh, okay. I'm on my iPhone. I think my iPhone 8 Plus. Yeah, I'm on this phone now.
Oh, this man got an iPhone 9, an iPhone 9 minus, and an iPhone 8 Plus. Oh.
All right. How y'all doing tonight?
Fine. What are your thoughts on this?
All right. I just wanted to say one thing. One thing, we're under the curses right now, so we all should be focusing on repenting.
Oh, right this now, nigga! I forgot. That's
right
what.
With the Most High.
Okay, wait. This.
Yeah, he's on that. He's on that. Jesus.
This happened earlier too. I think.
What happened earlier?
I mean, I love God, but this happened earlier too. I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think being spiritually right, yes, that's true. But if we can agree on that point, then my next question would be like with regard to, because I think the vibe I got earlier is that it very much felt to a lot of the women, and it was demonstrated in what went on, that there was a lot of deflection. And so we had a sister come on who believed that women should be leading, and she was like, women ought to be leading, and this is why. And I was like, well, if you think women are intelligent, if they're so intelligent, how come they're already in a leadership position? And she didn't make any excuses. She was like, da, 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 da. And I was like, well, if you think, that women ought to be leading, men are physically stronger, how would you get the men to agree? And she just answered the question. She did not do anything but like deal with her perception as to why women should lead. I'm only bringing this up because when I talk to the men, she was like, we need a plan. There has to be a game plan. There has to be order. I would try to avoid getting into unnecessary wars. I think men would be the muscle. Like she had a very clear vision. But I think what was lacking on that panel that was distressing is the men didn't have a clear vision for themselves. They talked about faith, and I was like, okay, so we can agree we need to follow God. They talked about, being, people being forced to sell their businesses when they're successful. They talked about needing more time. They talked about oppression. You know what I'm saying? But no plan, no clear, like I will lead, no clear, I will lead, and this is my vision. So that's kind of what I'm asking for now. It's like I was hoping to redeem that conversation, not like relive it. That's what I was telling you.
So basically, she said, "Oh yeah, we want to follow, but y'all don't have a plan. Y'all don't have a plan to take over the world, so we're not going to follow you." Well, guess what? I got a plan, bitch. I got a plan. For every child a white woman has, you have 2. For each and every single child a white woman has, you have 2 black kids. That is the plan. By a competent father. That is the plan. And you're saying since we won't announce our plan for world domination over the internet, you're not going to follow? Bitch, please, you're looking for an excuse not to. You're looking for a justification not to. But I got a plan. All right? I got a plan. For every one white baby, we have 2 black ones. Ratchet bitch, you haven't had any. If I were to line you, Cynthia G, Crystal Karazin, Chrissy, like Paris Milan, and ask y'all how many kids y'all have, it'll look like my last name, 00100. Y'all don't have shit. Fuck you. That's the program. That's the secret plan. You're worthless. Your womb is worthless. Your eggs is worthless. Fuck you.
GameChanger, like I can't go through that. Conversation again. I feel like the panel was not successful, and a lot of women left feeling like, okay, so basically black men aren't going to lead.
Right. So I'm gonna tell you why we can never get to it, Irene, because it comes back to holding men accountable. Because at the end of the day, we have a sector who's die hard that wants to hold women accountable for some reason. Like women run this shit. Y'all don't run shit. You don't run shit.
I think 26.
We have a sector that wants to hold women above men instead of holding these men to a standard. That's why we can't ever get to the hard conversation. My bad.
I want to just try if I could chime in. Since you brought up the panel, Irene, I spoke and I laid out what the position of men should be here in the United States as black men. And I think it's very straight to the point. I don't think I beat around the bush. Did I answer the question or did I not? Like this is
I think you answered the question. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure at least, you think I answered the question, I don't speak for me. Whoever else, I mean, I don't know. But I think I agree with Twin, for the most part, and you, Irene. But, other than doing, this is time to do it. What else are we talking about? I mean, I already, like myself, all this cybersecurity. I mentor a lot of young black men into IT to take them from doing, remedial jobs to, building in area that has growth and they can pass on to their kids and start their own businesses of some sort. So, I mean, there's things that I do in my personal life that takes a lot of time. Sometimes I chime out here so I just understand from a woman's perspective and an perspective of what we need to do to build, because I'm doing that just yesterday, I was mentoring a woman that was older than I was into the space. And she came to me for some, guidance on IT. So, I mean, I did it. And she said, you are the only one that took the time, and I spoke to a lot of brothers, I spoke to a lot of sisters. You're the only one that took time out to talk to me. And I'm the one who kept it on track, what you need to do, what you're going to expect, what direction you need to take. These are the possible directions you need to take. And if you have any other questions, please reach out to me, because I'm here to help you. Is that not part of what you're talking about today tonight? I don't understand why people are misguided.
I think I'm thinking like more on a communal level, and what the two sisters said, what Eddie and he said about just like it's just a waste of time having a conversation, or more disturbing, a woman that I know believes in male leadership. What Zaza said is she came into the conversation earlier believing men should lead, and she left the conversation feeling like, man, can we trust the men to lead? That
y'all didn't believe in male leadership in the first place. Y'all went in the conversation saying that men shall lead under these conditions. If those conditions are not met, and they weren't, then you refuse to follow. It's conditional leadership. It's not leadership. You went into the conversation hoping that they were talking about we need to rally together and build a community for the women in cheering. And then if they did that, you would have gave it a thumbs up and a smile, but you wouldn't have fucked any of them. Because your pussy is as empty as your head. Bunch of barren bitches.
That's why I'm so upset about what happened earlier, is because instead of me, I was so psyched. I was like, man, I held this poll, 500 people responded. Almost all of them believe that Black men should be leading the Black community. Everybody is pretty much on the same page. Let me have this panel. And then I have the panel. And then like none of the men went, not I'm going to say none, but almost all of the men didn't want to lead. Well, I want to be a hypocrite.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'll say that was my point. Since you said, what are some of your ideas of men, especially like leading, like what's some examples? I'm missing some.
So, well, like I said, and I wish one of my mods, if you could put the link to my leadership series in the chat. So the men that I think are leading, I've been interviewing them. These are men who, and you don't have to build, you can also assist people who are building, right? These are men who are creating.
You don't have to build. You can also assist the people who are building, but you're not actually leading, but we're going to credit it to you because you are working for us. See, that's the thing. They're saying we want more free shit. As the free shit from the government is waning, we want Black men to pick up the slack. We want more entitlements. And if you do that, we'll call you a leader. Now, we won't actually give you leadership of your household, but we'll say you're a leader in the community and we'll bat our eyelashes at you. But I'll never get you a sandwich.
Institutions, for our children. These are men who are, one brother has a newspaper, right? Mentoring organizations, creating rites of passage programs. These are going to be men who work on creating jobs within the community, who maybe go over, a group of women and help them organize like daycare co-ops. So these are the men that I'm looking at, like as far as.
Oh my gosh. Did she just say what I think she said? So she defined male leadership as, hold on. Let me go back a little bit, just a smidgen. Normal speed, hold on.
I have this panel, and then I have the panel, and then like none of the men wanted, I'm not gonna say none, but almost all of the men didn't want to lead. Well, I want to be a co-pilot.
But that's my okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I said that was my point. Since you said on the communal level, what are some of your ideas of men, or especially Black men, leading up level? Like what's some examples if I'm missing some?
So
Greg, it's spelt sandwich. Do it again, you're getting timed out. Spelt sandwich.
Go ahead.
Well, like I said, and I wish one of my mods, if you could put the link to my leadership series in the chat. So the men that I think are leading, I've been interviewing them. These are men who, and you don't have to build, you can also assist people who are building, right? These are men who are creating institutions, for our children. These are men who are, one brother has a newspaper, right? Mentoring organizations, creating rites of passage programs. These are going to be men who work on creating jobs within the community, who maybe go over, a group of women and help them organize like daycare co-ops.
Help them organize daycare co-ops. Help them organize daycare co-ops. Yep, she said it. She said it. Because it's not enough black men helping black women organize daycare co-ops. Gosh, my head hurts. Which is really just following black women as they organize a daycare co-op. But we're going to call it leadership. We're not going to follow until you help us organize our daycare co-ops. This hurts so much to listen to. Weapon X would demolish this woman. Anybody would demolish this woman that she don't have a mute button for. Exactly.
So these are the men that I'm looking at, like as far as what I consider leadership. And then, of course, men who maybe don't want or can't quite build yet, but are willing to assist those men that are doing that work, like in any way.
And basically, they mean just focus on building a daycare co-op. Don't pay attention to what we're doing. Focus on the daycare co-op.
They can. So to me, that's what black male leadership looks like.
There she go with the male word. And that's how you know when a chick spent a lot of time around feminists, because they replaced the word male with men.
Protection.
And shout out to Obsidian. You know, he was on some strange this morning, but you know, the whole community eunuch shit, he's on point with that.
Like a whole.
Hey, Melody, move your thing back a little bit. I'm gonna do this for a little bit longer. This running into overtime, love. Take it back a good 30.
Different, you know, it's
push it back a good 30.
Part of just manhood, but the leadership itself, right? The creating of those security nets, the caring for the community, the building institutions for our people. To me, that is what leadership is.
Yeah.
And that's what I point.
So she just defined leadership. She just defined leadership. Now watch what happens.
Feature on my series. Yeah.
So can I? I have a question for the panel. Are any of the fellas here single?
Yeah. I wanted to make the
married.
Okay. Are any of the other fellas here single? I heard somebody say yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm single. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. By the way, that's Mr. iPhone that's single. Anybody else? No, there are 3 guys that's not answering. And I heard she makes a mean sandwich. So there you go. Chaos Rain, J, Mark.
I think it's Menlick.
Menlick.
Yeah, Menlick.
Yeah, Mark, are you single?
I got a leg, bro.
I'm sorry?
He said no.
Okay. Chaos, are you single?
I'm trying to figure out what your relationship status has to do with you being a leader.
Because see, here's the thing. They define leadership as leaders of the community. I define it as, and most everybody else define it as leaders of the household. Like, think about it. How often do how often do you hear white people talk about the community? The white community. Like, how often do you hear them talk about that? How often do you hear Mexicans talk about that? Asians? Like, they just don't. Communities come natural when families are healthy. So when he says, what does your relationship status has to do with leading? It's like, well, I'm saying that you're not really leading if you're single. You're not leading your household because there's no one following. I mean, that wasn't my point, but that's what that would be my response to that if I was given an opportunity to respond.
Yeah.
I'll get to that. So Jay, you're single, correct?
No, I'm not single, man. No.
And what about you, Chaos Rain? Chaos Rain refused to answer because he's one of the weirdest niggas alive. Don't get me wrong, I'm weird, but that dude.
Oh Lord have mercy.
I know exactly what you're gonna say, GameChanger.
No, I just yeah. You can go
please,
ahead and say it. No, what are you? Where are you going with it?
Yeah.
Well, Jay can explain for us. Please go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out what your relationship status has to do with leadership.
So I just explained that. But Jay said, I know exactly where you're going with this. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, you can just explain where you're going with the GameChanger.
Yeah, can I make a point after him?
Yeah, again, I could have sworn I said earlier, it doesn't matter. I could have sworn I said earlier, it doesn't matter what these women are doing, you're still a leader.
So you're not a leader if somebody's not following you. This is what makes people dipshits. What I was going to suggest, Irene, is that you seem to have a single guys here, and you have women who are leaders, and you have women who are seeking such guys. Why not introduce them?
No, we're not talking about relationships.
Lord have mercy. We're
We're not talking about
relationships.
We're talking about I'm gonna be in.
We're not talking about relationships. When she talks about black male leadership, she's talking about a bunch of single guys going out, setting up a community to where women can be comfortably single. Once again, when she talks about black male leadership, she's talking about a bunch of single black men setting up a community so women can feel comfortable being single. So they want the federal welfare, stuff that comes in forms of like stimulus checks and, and FEMA and shit like that. They want the federal welfare. And then they want the state welfare, the food stamps and all that jive. Then they want the city welfare, the school systems that works as a de facto babysitter for their kids. And then they want the community welfare. The guys to come in and help create a babysitter co-op for black women. Oh, and what happens? What happens when these babysitter co-ops happen? What happens? I'm going to tell you what happens. They start making money. They now have this babysitter co-op, a confederacy of women who are getting together and starting to babysit their kids and others. It expands, it grows. And then a leader of it says, I make 6 figures. These black men are beneath me. I make 6 figures. It's time for me to level up. I have my own business. I should be with somebody with my own with their own business. I have my own babysitter co-op brought to you by the black men of the community. I have my own babysitter co-op. Why are all these guys beneath me? I have my own babysitter co-op. All these guys that help me build my babysitter co-op, I have my own, and they are beneath me. I make 6 figures. Ma'am, you're average at best. You're so mean.
Ending this in a few minutes. Yeah, we're not talking about relationships.
All right,
This is
can I
not
make a
about
point?
sex or dating, or it's not about that.
It's royalty. I want to make a point. Can I make a point?
Okay. Please.
I'm gonna be very brief. What I wanted to say, I'm an Israelite, all right? The so-called black.
Hate when people start off by mentioning whatever they're a part of.
Blacks, Latino, and Native Americans, we are Israel. And
Never come on my panel if you use the word so-called when it's just called that. It means I can't have a conversation with you. GC, you over there in the so-called California. Like, it's just called that. You're a so-called black man. No, I'm a black man. Biden is the so-called president. No, he's the president. Shut the fuck up. Do not ever hop on my panel talking so-called when it's something that's just called that. You're a so-called idiot.
And we are in a land in our captivity, all right? They are about to push the vaccine, the RFID chip, right? And they're going to be closing businesses up. It's not that much time left. I understand you want leadership. I've been single. I had many women in my life. I probably had over 40 women when I was in the world. And being in...
Is that a lot? Okay.
The gospel, hold on, bro. Hold on. 9 years teaching, right? Our people, the young people in Philadelphia.
I'm going to do some math. So let's just say that these consist of one night stands, right? And he's been an adult for 9 years. He's been an adult for 180 months divided by 40. Means that he has sex once every 2.7 months. Well, okay. I guess that's okay. Like, you know, if you have sex 4 times a year, I guess you're the man. Thumbs up. You the man. I'm glad you got an iPhone 9.
I'm from Philly.
Well, he just said 9 years. He's been working like 9 years. So.
Okay. I understand leadership, but this is not our rest to be talking about get a woman to build a nation. Brothers and sisters, it ain't that time, man. The Lord is about to come back. So you have to understand something. It's not about the Bible. It's about prophecy. And the Lord, we're not on.
So are you saying that men shouldn't bother to worry about leading or creating anything for the community because it's all going to fall in our basket anyway?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because you have to understand the point that I'm trying to make. We love.
This dude just said yes, ma'am. He just said yes, ma'am. Twice. In a discussion about black male leadership, he said yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We love you.
Can you come through for the Bible battles? Because I think I let's do that. I think we can go into scripture on that. I think that would be really great to do, like, because definitely okay, yeah. So no, come through for the Bible battles, but let's not do it tonight. But yeah, for sure, I definitely want to talk about that during Bible battles because I've had the thoughts too, like why bother me? What's going to happen, right? But I think I can bring some scriptures to the table, and you can give me your thoughts on them. And you can bring some scriptures to the table, and let's do that. I think that would be good.
All right.
Thank you so much. I hope you really do come though. I'll try to plan ahead so that it's not like just bringing it up.
Utopia. Somebody wants a sandwich.
I don't know.
I don't lie. I keep my word. I just wanted to make that point, because a lot of camps, you have a lot of false camps out here, teaching in the name of, false gods and teaching false doctrine. But this truth is not about militant. It's all about being meek to our people and being humble, humility, and telling them the truth, not lying. So this is what we do. And, that's all I have to say. I mean, I really didn't have to say a lot because I know women. I dealt with many women. I'm an expert with women because I was evicted in the world.
This nigga said I'm an expert with women. Oh, God. Well, you're just a regular Steve the Dean, aren't you?
But the women nowadays, they're destroyed because we done them wrong. It's not the woman. The men did the women wrong. We both messed up. We need one another. All right. So this is why the Lord said we need a physician. We need a physician to be saved. So that's very important. Very important.
I wanted to understand some of us, and then I give up.
This conversation
I really hoped. I hoped. I mean, I already said what I hoped for 30 minutes straight at the beginning of this live, but I mean, yeah. So I'm sorry, Malik, that I didn't get to hear what you had come up to say. I don't think.
Like for me, I'm half East African, but I would say this: whether it's black people in the UK or in America, in the West, so essentially we only make up a small percentage in these white Western countries and stuff like that. The attack on black people or the black family structure has been bad, been bad on the system.
Okay, Sweet Melody Speaks. I got to get the new name right. Thanks a lot, love. Appreciate the super chat. Nobody got the high one today. Oh well. These are the types of dudes her platform attracts. No, these are the type of dudes her tits attract.
Systematic level, and I think with black males who want to be leaders, I think that with your mindset, I think that I don't see a lot of them saying that because you have feminism and women saying need this stuff in the West, whether it's in the UK, America, or Canada, whatever. You see the same problems here in the West, and I think that what it is. I feel like it's going to have to take extreme measures for this leadership thing to happen. I think that first place is going to have to separate from some of this stuff, build like Nation Islam or like Amish version of the black community and stuff like that, because in the Western culture people they don't operate as a community, people operate as individualism is because we have to look at it in a systematic level in culture, because of the culture. And I was saying that I think the plan would be that on a systematic.
No, I was saying 6:30, Melody. Damn it. Hold up.
Level, we have to build a new community up for that happen. So I think there's going to have to be a lot of extreme measures that we're going to have to black people willing to do that or not, or they're too comfortable. It seems like a lot of black people are too comfortable, trying to get caught up in this madness of materialism and all this other stuff and promoting this LGBT stuff. And you hear CBM saying they want to destroy the traditional family and all this stuff. And patriarchy, anything mentioning male leadership, it's anti-female. So you hear this narrative going around, dudes that do want to lead and become a problem. So I think I think some dudes want to lead and you have different things, but I think it can't happen. But it have to have a plan, like you were saying, that men are building these structures and all that type of stuff. That's good, but they also need.
I want y'all to note that I'm keeping quiet the whole time.
Backing economics behind all this stuff, because a lot of black people don't really understand geopolitics or group economics. And I think that that's a problem. So I think that it can happen. And I think that a lot of guys who were born in the West, whether you're immigrants or not, but trained to think with this matriarchal mindset. And I think that a lot of dudes have to break from that stuff and stop being Simpson, allowing the women to run over them and do all that type of stuff, set your boundaries. And I think what GameChanger said, for the relationship piece, because relationship is the center of the family. And if that's messed up, the society is messed up, the guy should be able to lead in the house. So it starts at the house on a basic level, then it goes out into the community. So if the family stuff has been messed up for the last 50-some years, they have to be rebuilt up. So I think it has to be so it does start at at home first. So I think that's what GameChanger was was saying. So a lot of dudes raised to be husbands or women raised to be wives, stuff like that. That's the thing. In Africa the family structure is a little different. It's not you don't have people we have this kid, you have to be accountable. So, but they don't have a court system or something like that. My lady grew up in East Africa, So, and the culture was taught to be that. So, and I think in the culture we're not taught like this. And we go to these public schools, we get brainwashed by all this madness. And some of these the Western black women, they go to these school cows oh, I need no man, I'm independent, and they bring this masculine energy, and dudes start thinking, this matriarchal type of mindset. So I think that I'm not saying that women should be just a woman can be an engineer, they can do all this stuff, but men and women have different roles. There's a masculine role, there's a female role. A woman can still be feminine and still be accountable. It's like there's people in Africa, right? Women in Africa that are accountants or when they come home, they know how to be cooperative and play their role.
I understand what you're saying. So I want to say to those people in the chat, actually on my Black Men Leadership series, one of the men that I interviewed in the last video that I did is a preacher. And so if you want to hear something that makes sense come from a Black male Christian, then go watch that. And I think it will change your perspective, because I see some stuff going on in the chat. And I think after you hear him speak, then that's what I would love to have with him. I'm bringing him back over on the channel, so you guys will have an opportunity to talk to him again. But go over there and listen to my interview with him, because I think that's going to be a conversation from a Black leadership perspective that you definitely probably haven't heard before. And he's just in the final stages of opening up a school for Black children. He has a newspaper. Obviously, he's a preacher, so he has a church. But I really want you guys to go listen to him, because maybe he has a different sort of way of approaching these conversations. And I think sometimes we hear, and I know definitely different than the message that was coming across the channel today. Manila, thank you so much for that. Chaos, do you have any final words? I'm sorry.
Did everybody speak?
No, everybody has it. Go ahead.
No, I'll be last.
I mean, everybody.
See, I told y'all. Here comes some weird ass chaos rain shit.
Everybody has spoken. Everybody's about to get off now, because I'm about to
I'm not sure what black women, black men want in the 21st century about who needs to lead, who needs to take lead. At the end of the day, as a nation in this so-called nation, you have some choices to make.
So-called nation. Nigga, it's a nation. What do you call it? This so-called nation, but it's actually called a big heap of dirt in the middle of the oceans. What do you call it?
Either you're going to be
Stoic, that's chaos.
lead by a man or not. Now, the man can't show any form of where you're going in your own life, in this relationship, or even, let's say, go as far as a little collective, then by all means, then that person, maybe you should not waste time at this time. But there are almost 2 million black people in America. A lot of black people overall are operating not on a patriarchy, they're operating mostly on a matriarchy. How we know? Because it's a reflection of most of the conversation in our communities. So when they come about who should lead and have discussion, to me, it's really pointless. Because at the end of the day, unless we're doing what's necessary to get out of this oppression in all categories and say quote fucking Bible verse, like Jesus Christ will come back and save us, then you're behind the eight ball. This system's going to turn up and it's going to keep increasing their not only foot on our necks, but also the declining population of black in the West and possibly beyond. So until we really make a decision how we're going to operate and survive during this environment, everything else is a waste of time. Now, in regards to how people should lead or what steps they should lead, only thing you can go by at this point is find one thing, 1 or 2 good books on leadership. Second, find somebody that is in the direction that's doing somewhat good in the community, or that you can depend and trust, and learn something from that, and then try to replicate and improve and apply it in your own life. That's the best way to go. A lot of young black men today, let's come up, don't know how to lead, don't know where to lead, what direction to do within their own lives. So the only thing that can correct that is not only discipline, but maybe they might have to go outside this environment to the military or other branches just to get some form of masculinity, because it's shown proof that they don't have it. And been called mama too long. And look at the results of this behavior for 40, and we can say almost 50 years now of this. Because the women that can give a quick answer to what they will do, and most men can't give a quick answer, it tells you the climate of the king already for the last couple of decades. So, I don't mind entertaining these conversations, but when I look on the long term, then unless it's taking some form of action, I mean, we could talk about it, and it's nice, but if it's not changing in our environments that we nest in, it's all a waste of fucking time to me, So, I don't mind what GameChanger asked me about the marital status. That's fine, that's cool. But at the end of the day, when a woman asks a clear question, either we could give a clear answer or not. No one's not.
This dude said, this is some more weird shit. Hold on. All right. This is some more of the weird shit. Because remember, I asked him relationship status, and he just said nothing. Because I thought that he wasn't there. He was away from his phone, but apparently he was. But let's listen to what he said.
Because it's shown proof that they don't have it. They've been caught with mama too long. And look at the results of this behavior for 40, and we could say almost 50 years now of this. Because the women that can give a clear answer to what
let's get the likes up, please.
Most men can't give you a clear answer. It tells you the climate of the king already for the last couple of decades. So, I don't mind entertaining these conversations, but when I look on the long term, then unless it's taking some form of action, I mean, we could talk about it and it's nice, but if it's not changing in our environments that we nest in, it's all a waste of fucking time to me, So, I don't mind what GameChanger asked me about the marital status. So that's fine, that's cool. But at the end of the day, when a woman asks a clear question, either we could give a clear answer or not. No.
So he went from, I don't mind GameChanger asking about marital status, and that's cool. But when a woman asks a clear question, we're talking about male leadership. Irene didn't even ask a question. What are you talking about? One of the weirdest niggas. On YouTube. That didn't make no damn sense whatsoever. So he was sitting there thinking that a woman asked GameChanger a clear question. What the fuck?
No one's going to shoot us in the head. No one's going to demean us, look down us. It lets us know either we know or we don't know. It's that simple.
What question were you talking about? Is somebody this guy's friend? Like, can y'all explain this special brand of weird?
At least the women will respect a man that
Respect.
either knows or don't know. That's it. If we don't know, and we just move on. So that's the only answer I give you, Irene.
Thank you, Chaos. I appreciate you coming up. GameChanger, do you have any?
Well, first of all, I'll respond to Chaos. Do you know or don't know if you're single or not?
No, can you just give your? Because I'm gonna end the live. I don't want to get into like a whole nother discussion. I think he's just not going to tell us. He won't also tell us where his accent's from. So I think we just have to like live with it.
Do you know how to say I don't wish to answer? Well, anyway, fellas, part of leadership is understanding topping from the bottom. That's basically when somebody offers submission conditionally. And those conditions is making you submit to them. Don't be fooled. From what I've seen, from the short aspect of when I came, that's what's going on. You have a woman saying that we want to follow if you meet these terms and conditions. Therefore,
what were the terms and conditions, GameChanger?
Well, now, as discussed throughout, the terms and conditions were community service. Coach my kids' little league, help me build a co-op, etc., etc., etc. Community leadership. Y'all even went as far to say you shouldn't mess with these dudes who don't participate in building the community. Those are the terms. So if you meet our criteria. Now, keep in mind, a person doesn't have to list the terms in order to do that. In fact, they rarely do, because they're showing their cards for leadership. Now,
what is the criteria? No, not because no.
So she's asking me a question and then she's muting me. See, this is too bad Keith's gone, but this is what they do. This is what they do. So when you understand, when you have a clear understanding that of what they're doing, of how she's trying to manipulate leadership, she censors you. She is literally censoring me now. Oh, and watch how this good girl, I'm so sweet, I'm so submissive routine crumbles. Watch it crumble.
I want to be clear what my question is. Okay. I'm the only woman here. So when you say you have a woman that's saying if you meet terms and conditions, I want you to point out when I gave terms and conditions, because I never did. So don't accuse me of something if you can't quote me giving terms and conditions.
Okay. Let's put it like this. If you do not have terms and conditions, then what you're attempting to do is disqualify men as leaders.
No, what I'm saying is you just accused me of something. Now I want you.
All right. So Hashim says, support for the platform. Great work. I appreciate you, brother. Mr. Mister says they need to stop divesting in black, they need to stop divesting in black men and start investing in samajology. Yeah.
To qualify your statement.
See, you don't need, and I should have just qualified it, but you don't need an actual action in order to qualify it. That's the thing. I'm describing a process. I see what you're doing. You don't actually have to list the end goal in order for it to be done. I understand that it's a covert. That's like saying, somebody is planning a sneak attack on me. Oh, really? Where are they sneaking to? But even still, we have an answer to the question, and that is invest in the community. More specifically, help them build their babysitting co-ops. No, okay. I'm saying generally.
Either say that you're wrong,
Irene,
or qualify yourself.
and now she's interrupting. Generally, this is what topping from the bottom is.
No, you just accused me of something. So now I want you to qualify your statement. If you make a statement and say, here we have a woman, and I'm the only woman here, the whole panel,
do you have
who is saying, I want to repeat what you said.
Do you have a definition of leadership?
I want you to repeat.
And this is me trying to get her to reiterate the definition of leadership, because that is what she is topping from the bottom for men to do. She's offering submission only if men submit to her definition of leadership. Do you have a definition of leadership?
I want you.
Do you have a definition of leadership?
Let me help you listen to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You said, these are your words, not mine.
Okay.
Here we have a woman who is saying we want to follow, right? We want a man to lead. We want a man to lead, but only if he meets certain terms and conditions. Now, you accused me of saying that. Now, I want you to prove that I said it.
Okay.
Or say that I can't prove it.
No, you wanted me to say the terms and conditions.
Yes.
The
You're accusing me of having put forth.
The terms and conditions are as follows. Only have the discussion without talking about the faults of Black women. Leave Black women out of them. Only talk about the exceptional Black women and talk about the faults of Black men.
I didn't say I wanted a leader that did that. I said those were the parameters of our discussion. I did not say that.
You are directing the conversation.
1 second. You said
you are directing the conversation.
I want. Let's be very clear. We're not gonna play word games. You said I only want the men to be.
Now, fellas, is this submissive? Is this submissive? Is these the type of arguments that submissive women have with men? Is this the type of behavior that a submissive woman would demonstrate while in the presence of a man? See, all that sweet talk and shit like that, and, oh, look at me, I'm so sweet, look at my tits. All of that fails in comparison when you unravel their bullshit. You're a fake. You got called out on it, and now the real you is showing. If I talk like this to my father or mister, I would have been gotten popped in the mouth, seriously. Well, I mean, that's because they were actual leaders.
So you said I don't even know you or your name, so you sound confused. No, you need to be quiet.
No,
because you're being aggressive, right?
You need to be quiet. Do y'all hear this? All she was talking before was fake ass submission. Oh, we're just looking for someone to submit to. Bullshit. This is the real you. You need to be quiet. You got men on here calling you ma'am.
Right now.
How submissive?
So let me finish. This is the one because you're being disingenuous.
And she's hitting the mute button over and over again. The real her just came out. Ah, crap.
I don't even know you or your name, so you sound confused. No, you need to be quiet.
No,
because you're being aggressive right now.
How submissive?
So let me finish. This is the one because you're being disingenuous. You're being disingenuous. So let me finish. Excuse me. Wait a second. Because you're upset that I won't let you be deceptive, and that is what I'm talking about. He was unhappy.
And she kicked me off the thing. She wouldn't let me explain to her or answer her question. What are the terms and conditions? The terms and conditions are you become community eunuchs to their satisfaction. That is the terms and conditions. Now, the statement would still apply even if you didn't have those terms and conditions. Because people can top from the bottom often without stating what they're gunning for. They just state to the individual what they're doing it so they can spring whatever, whenever. But it's not actual submission, nor is it femininity. You're right.
Happy that I wouldn't let him be deceptive. When I asked him a simple question was to qualify his statement, he couldn't do it because he told a lie on me. And then he tried to change what he was saying. He tried.
Actually, I told the truth. Now I'm able to back it right now with a larger audience than yours. But you just got exposed. You tried to hide it by putting your video on private, but here it is. Here it is. You got exposed. You were trying to top from the bottom.
To move the goalpost by saying I was limiting the parameters of the conversation. But that's not what his original statement was. His original statement was that I claimed I would only follow leadership that looked a certain way. His original statement was,
all right, let me
that you accused me of saying something I never said.
Okay, now she's just going to talk about.
I don't know their name, I've never seen their face, and I don't know their character. I feel like I was very gracious to him.
So at this point, I'm in the chat room offering to meet her leader. At this point, because she's married and shit, right? You're in the Bay, I'm in the Bay. Let me meet your husband. You can be my girl. Let me meet your leader. And that's not a threat or anything. This is just me saying, I want to see if he's being topped from the bottom. I want to see, and I could tell by, your body language and everything, like if he is actually being topped from the bottom.
Definitely don't think anybody could say that I was anything but gracious to GameChanger. And if he's honest with himself, he cannot say I was anything but gracious to him right up to the very end where he attempted to.
You didn't let me say anything. I mentioned black women. You say I can't talk about that, and you interrupted me on this part.
Defame my character and then get mad at me.
And she's likely not married. But the point is that
when I asked him to
we're a BART ride away from each other, and yeah.
Qualify what his claims were. And he became upset with me because he could not do it. Because at the end of the day, I didn't use any of.
Oh, all right. So that's that. Okay, Melody, go ahead and put your link out there. And we're going to close up. So that was longer than expected, but it had to be done. It had to. It had to. I'm going to hop over to Melody's. Then I am going to set up movie night. So, yeah, that's going to be a thing. All right. There we go. Melody stream, check it out. I am about to head over there right now. Other than that, I'd like to thank the Cash Apps and Super Chats. I'd like to thank the managers and moderators, those who are listening silently, and those who participate in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And remember, this is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.